Let me tell you a tale about a lonely barbarian, about a demonic invasion, about triumphing in a cyclical manner, so to speak. About ancients, crafting, demons, cubes, more demons, torment, and even Endgame. This is Pure Cinema, the Diablo 4 edition. As this is a top-down game, I don't care much about the looks, I think that is clear, so let's dive in. I am drifting through the snowy mountains, slowly walking up to wargs, hitting them with my axes. They drop gold, I get to a village, where I'm instructed to head north. I oblige, of course.
No one should live in fear. I will cleanse the old ruins of evil.
I reach level 2 for simply accepting the quest. I lunge with my big hammer towards skeletons, open the door, keep lunging at Fallen, get Hammer of the Ancients as my core skill, and using a combination of those two skills I take down Exfall. He drops more gear, I equip a few pieces and report back.
The old ruins are clear. Your town should be safe now.
It's time to party and to get drugged. I'm Dutch, after all. This is how I usually get back to my place, by cart, where I typically eat bloody rose petals. I am saved by Joseph, who screams at me and makes me escape. I get rallying cry, make my way to the chapel, and have a vision.
Break the chains and discover who you were meant to be. Break the chains and be beautiful in sin.
I see Elias and Lilith, whose true work begins. Joseph then tells me,
Listen, there is a hermit to the northeast, a man of questionable loyalty, but he knows of the forbidden. He might be useful to us.
So I go there and find him.
If you're going to trespass into my home, rifle through my things, then at least have the decency to join me for supper. I'm bloody hungry.
I move towards the main capital, where Lorath the Hermit gives me a quest. As a reward, I get a mount. I've played this game before, so I have some options. Lorath is off to the dry steppes, but urges me to seek out the cathedral. I go there, talk to Reverend Mother Prava, who also sends me on a quest. I take it, I'm looking for Vigo in Yelesna, where I'm pointed north. On my way there, I slay some ghouls, say thanks in front of a shrine and am rewarded with a treasure chest before I find Vigo and Nerel, who I inform of Lilith's appearance. Nerel is looking for her mother and already knows of Lilith.
You've read so much, yet know so little. Will you accept my offer?
I don't know. Will you let me try?
Through several visions, I learn that Nerel's mother is persuaded by Lilith to follow her. To get to her, I will have to slay several demons who will reward me with magic gear. I keep leveling Hammer of the Ancients. We find Nerel's mother, but unfortunately, she's gone mad.
Oh, I see. Yes, clever magpie. Trying to lead me away so you can take all this for yourself. This is my discovery, not yours. I will finish these runes with your blood!
I am up for a fight, kill the demons she spawns, but I can't save her. Nerel is hell-bent on finishing the ritual, asking me to meet her in the Mistral Woods. First though, it is time to get back to the cathedral to report my findings.
Angels above, you've returned!
As a reward, I allow myself to pick a cute new portal and a gravestone, which I'm sure I will actually never see. I've been upgrading my gear a bit, it is at least mostly magic. I am level 13 and make it to Cor Valar, where Prava is waiting for me. I need her blessing.
Make a pilgrimage to the Alabaster Monastery. Cleanse your spirit. Then we may discuss a blessing.
Before I get that blessing, I'm getting myself a tribe. I'm a lonely barbarian after all. As a rite of passage, I have to slay this beast, so I do. Loot its head, return it to the tribe and unlock weapon mastery. For now, I pick two-handed axes. It is time to meet with Vigo again, who explains the pilgrimage. I complete it and am granted an audience with Inarius, the angel. He is very positive about this whole situation, has absolutely no hesitations, and doesn't tell me to sod off.
Your kind are weak, and this world has been wasted on the crusades of the unworthy. I can stop.
Somehow, though, Brava knows his ways.
I know his ways. That is approval enough for me. In the name of the light, I bless you.
I have the blessing in the pocket and the cash in my inventory, and my first legendary in that cash, a proper reward. While making my way back to Nerel, I encounter a wolf. A talking wolf, it's not suspicious at all. He is helping though, getting me through an illusion, after which I rendezvous with Nerel. Deep within the Mistral Woods, after dispelling the illusion, we encounter the Horadric Vault, which is guarded by a servant of Lilith, so time for a bit of demon slaying. I reach level 18, Nerel finds what she's looking for, and back at her mother's place of death, she resurrects her using Horadrim necromancy magic. I can't do much but press on, fight another boss, Lilith's Lament, get help from a knight who turns out to be Vigo, who is not in great shape. He does drop a legendary though, it is all good. In front of his corpse, I decide to upgrade my gear a bit. It is a very nice amulet after all. I see another flashback where Lilith finds her slain son, Rathma, and gets a key from his staff.
This key unlocks more than the doors of hell. It unlocks our path to the future. A future made possible because of the price you paid.
Loreth explains this further as the narrator of the story.
Inarius proved to be just as unreliable as I'd feared. His self-obsession had driven him to murder his son, Rathma. And from the corpse left behind, Lilith had taken a key to hell. Where would she use it? We could only depend on ourselves to find out.
Back in town, I mastercraft for the first time now that I have some rares. I get damage to close enemies, makes sense to me as a melee character. I also get my ultimate ability, Wrath of the Berserker. In Act 2, I'll be looking for a Horadrim named Donan.
I'm looking for a Horadrim named Donan. An old friend of his sent me.
At this hour, I'd wager he's in the keep.
He tells me about an incident at his estate.
There was an incident at my estate.
So I investigate his estate, Firebreak Manor.
Welcome to Firebreak Manor, traveler.
I'm here about the incident. Donan gave me permission to look around.
It is there I find another flashback where Lilith tempts Donan, promising him former glory.
I can make you the hero you were.
I fight off a bunch of goatmen, make my way to Braystag where I meet Asgail. She tells me about a fog with spirits up north. I tell her about a demon, Lilith, and Yorin, Donan's son, offers to guide me to the spirits. While I fight off those spirits, he solves puzzles. At the end of the foggy mountain, I find Erida, who is being corrupted by Lilith, and she has shared the location of Astaroth. We'll get to him, but first I must kill Erida for her betrayal. I make it back to town, report back to Yorin, temper my gear a bit more, it is mostly rare gear at this point. I check some stats even though I don't really know what I'm looking for, and decide to put some crude diamonds in my jewelry for a bit of toughness. I continue my quest in a nearby town. A guard points me to Lilith, where I encounter a wolf who brings me to his master, Nefane. Donan, Erida and Nefane banished Astaroth a long time ago, and Lilith is haunting them. Erida I just disposed of. Nefane, as can be seen here, isn't doing great either. He also made a pact with Lilith and revealed as well the location of Astaroth. He still points me to a hunting ground, where I fight another big Kerberos-like demon. He escapes though, summoned by Lilith. On my way to the keep, the place where Astaroth's soulstone is hidden, I slay some more demons. Honing my hammering skills, I equip another legendary and arrive. But it's too late, the keep is overrun. I do find Donan, he is still alive, which can't be said for the rest of the garrison. Question is, what has happened to his son, Yorin? I reach the Soulstone chamber, which is empty, as expected. There, another flashback, where it turns out Yorin is about to suffer from a case of severe demonic possession.
Will have safe passage.
Donan still believes Yorin can be saved, but yeah, I'm not sure how that soulstone will be removed exactly, and what's left of them then. And the answer is, it won't.
My boy. He called out for you, wept until his tears became fire.
I managed to kill Astaroth while he is rampaging through the town, but clearly Yorin is beyond saving.
Donan was shattered, his mind on grief, not her, not answers. No one knew what Lilith was truly after, or exactly what Astaroth had promised her. But we needed to recover quickly, and we needed to stop chasing her phantoms.
After all this, I do significantly more tempering, and it is time for Act 3. I meet with Lorath, who went after Elias, an ex-Horadrim. He is known as the Pale Man too. He brought Lilith back to Sanctuary, the world I live in, but to find him I need help. The Pale Man is spotted near the canyons, so I head over there. Here is what Lorath found.
I had hoped to find a witness who saw Elias. Instead, I have a camp of dead merchants. They were slaughtered by demons, that much is plain. But none were summoned here. We should search the canyons.
I find a hell rift, keep slaying demons. I search through some old buildings for clues, start tracking a necromancer, Genbar, and not too much later, I find him.
Visitors? Did Master Elias send you?
Well, no. So Elias conjures a proper demon, which at this point, after spending several passives and keeping the game on normal difficulty, I boink back into the dust without issues. And Genbar is Fubar as well. Elias went into a monastery where at this point everyone is going insane. I fight Bone Lord, my favorite enemy in the game, reach level 36, clear the monastery and make my way back to Lorath. I explain Elias took something.
What did he take?
Scrolls from the Forbidden Archive. He has the means to summon a lesser evil.
It's time to travel to Gulran, where Lorath thinks Elias went. Before going there, I clear an outpost on my way, reach level 37 and get another legendary weapon. It is a decent upgrade. I reunite with Lorath, looking out over the city, and it turns out I'm looking for Oyun. I infiltrate the city, kill the jailer, free Oyun, who points me to a secret escape tunnel, which ultimately leads to a secret archive from Elias. I find a clue, do more quests, and I meet that wolf again. And it turns out it is no ordinary wolf.
Mephisto. I know who you are now.
Mephisto leads me through another realm. Like before, he is pleased with my slaying activities, being the Lord of Hatred and all, and I make it out of the realm towards Elias, who is conducting a ritual to summon a lesser evil. Lorath manages to interrupt the ritual, after which I am forced to take on this guy. It's not too difficult. I kill him, go outside, meet the woman the ritual was performed on, Thaisa, and she knows where Elias is.
He has a palace, somewhere in the deserts of eastern Kyrgyzstan. But that is all I know.
Before I visit the desert, more upgrades, more tempering, and also I need a guide to that palace because a sandstorm is blocking the way. Fortunately, there is one, none other than Mephisto. You may recognize him if you're as old as me. And while we leave Thaisa behind for the time being, we progress with Mephisto and his dromedary, or camel. I reach the outer gardens of the palace, a little after the inner gardens, and there he is.
I knew you would come, Lorath.
Been spying on us with the sightless eye, have you?
You think I would waste such magic on you? You're still just as narrow-minded as the day I left you. I will put you out of your misery, old man. You should have stayed in that little cabin, hoarding your regret.
It's him alright, and he goes down, basically without a fight. A little anticlimactic. Lorath suggests I should take the Sightless Eye, which is basically a palantir from Lord of the Rings. And then he just walks through the door again, this guy.
Elias, how are you still alive?
Excellent question. I kill him again, but yeah, it is likely not for long. I do that for a few more times until I reach the relic.
Here it is. The Sightless Eye. Mephisto can help us get the artifact far from this place.
Unfortunately, Mephisto gets killed on the way out, by Lilith, I believe. And we're back at Thaisa. She's nice. She asks how our trip went.
Did you kill him?
Lorath writes a letter to Donan, who explains the plan to me.
It's written in our code. He sent a plan, though calling it that is generous. He wants to imprison Lilith with my soul stone, the one that held Astaroth.
And so it is back to the vault, but not before killing a loot goblin. Those exist as well. And while all of that went on, Elias returned to Thaisa and completed the summoning of the Lesser Evil and Dariel, Maiden of Anguish. It's a nice battle. It's just a campaign version though, and she goes down after a minute or so. I do get my first unique as a reward, Frostburn, and I don't see a reason to not equip this. It is time for another round of tempering. I just keep doing this with new gear. It is very affordable, and now it is time to dive into the matter of Elias's immortality. Also, the acts in this video do not necessarily correspond to the acts in the game. I must find the Tree of Whispers, as Elias has likely made a pact with them. To get there, I have to fight a Snake Queen who guards incense, and we're having a cute ayahuasca session where I meet Mephisto again. Donan confronts his inner demons and deals with the loss of his son, and Thaisa seems to just ride the high. Mephisto offers to stop Lilith. Donan is able, after sufficient grieving and drug use, to attune the Soul Stone so it can be reused to capture Lilith, and now that I am properly addicted to all of these substances, we're going for another round with the incense. And after another massive trip, I make it to the Tree of Whispers. They point me towards a wreckage. I find that wreckage thanks to quest markers. There's a coffin which takes me to another place, Elden Ring style, a drowned instance. It's very atmospheric, and ultimately I find a piece of Elias, his finger. Somehow this makes him immortal. I get the whole crew together now that Elias should be killable, and while most members, those who know Horadric magic, enchant the Soul Stone because apparently that is needed, Thaisa and I head for Elias's head. I beat him once more with the help of Thaisa this time. It is permanent, and Thaisa gets her revenge.
How many times must we do this before you learn? My life is not yours to claim.
The tree does not forget oaths, and it does not forgive debts.
Now, there's something you should know about this tree. A pact can be made, but at the cost of your head. Hence, they're all hanging there. Elias made a pact, and I made sure his head is now hanging there. Lorath, however, wanting to progress the questline, did the same thing. Once he dies, his head will be next to Elias's, for eternity. The tree does give us Lilith's whereabouts. She's beneath the city of Caldeum, to consume her father's, that is Mephisto's, essence. She's opened the gates to hell to do that, using the key from that staff from before. It is not just her though. Inarius and the cathedral are also here, marching on hell to stop the onslaught. I meet Prava, representing the cathedral, again, and I must make it through the city, and during that trip I encounter Duriel, Lord of Pain. He kinda comes out of nowhere, to be honest, but okay. I defeat him, get some more gear, and press on. At the gates of hell, another flashback of Lilith opening the gates, after which I walk in.
I can sense your fear, Father.
In hell, I reach level 51 while fending off hordes of demons. A massive battle took place between the cathedral and the forces of hell, which hell won, so it is just us now. Speaking of battle, here's another one with Ashava, which is a world boss as well later on. I get another legendary and add it to the mix. And Donan for some reason checks out this pillar of corpses. And he doesn't survive, unfortunately. Nerel reminisces on his passing.
He gave everything. His home. His son. What was it for?
After seeing Mephisto, Nerel and I make our way into his domain.
Mephisto led you to this moment. We're in his realm. Should we really be doing what he wants? Between him and Lilith, he is the greater evil.
You want to use the stone on him?
Think carefully. That path would lead to failure for all of us.
Nerel uses the Soulstone on Mephisto, capturing him, and that leaves me with Lilith, who is still alive and flying. During this pinnacle boss fight, I can tell you a bit more about the build so far. I use Q, lunging attack, to generate fury, that is the orange orb on the right. W is the Hammer of the Ancients, a big slam that costs fury, so it's generator spender. I have a war cry to increase damage and another cry for defenses. T is my ultimate, Wrath of the Berserker, and right mouse button uses a ground stomp which stuns enemies and also generates fury. In this demonic, I think very interesting two-phase fight where first I fight Lilith as the creator of Sanctuary, which she created together with Inarius, and after that phase is over I fight her in her true form, you could say, as the Daughter of Hatred, the daughter of Mephisto. Ultimately, I stand victorious in hell. I'm rewarded with a unique ring, Mother's Embrace, and this marks the end of the base Diablo 4 game.
Now, we are truly alone. The creators of Sanctuary, Angel and Demon, Father and Mother, are dead.
Vessel of Hatred starts with a shift in the cathedral's priorities. We're outcasts now, Loreth and I, and Joseph, the guy I once saved and the guy who once saved me, comes to execute me. He meets my hammer instead. We're looking for Nerel, who took off with Mephisto's Soulstone.
Find her. Once you're together, meet me at Donan's estate.
I'm doing some inventory management. Decide to equip Mother's Embrace because restoring primary resource, that is Fury, that orange orb, that's very good. I also spend some more time tempering, making sure my gear is up to the task. I visit Donan's grave, and I see Nerel being tormented by the Soulstone.
Your imperfection gave me hope. And we will need it to face what comes next. To face him and his brothers.
And it's quite clear, Nerel's condition is deteriorating rapidly the longer she holds the stone.
Wish me well, Morath. Because if everything works out as I am hoping, we will never see each other again.
Back at home though, while Nerel plots her own course, the proverbial shite has hit the fan in the form of Urivar, an overzealous killer and our new bad guy. Plus, as per usual, Loreth is gone and I need to find him. Following some clues, I end up in Geakul, in Rahir's workshop.
Here, step into my workshop. Some things are best shared in privacy. And comfort.
Rahir tells me Loreth went after Nerel.
Last I saw her, she went in search of passage across the river, into Nahantu.
So Nahantu it is, the new province that the expansion unlocks. But first, I need to help defend Geakul, which I do without issues. But then a small issue arises.
Burn away the darkness,
I am the main character, however, with significant plot armor, so I am being revived by Eru, an old spirit-born from Nahantu.
This is Nahantu. Help is needed, so help is offered. Unless you are refusing.
Rahir rejoins, and after getting rid of more demons in an old abandoned underground fort, this turns out to be a place to hire mercenaries. As I have done this quest before, all of the mercenaries are already unlocked, saving me significant time. The search for Nerel continues and brings me to Travinkel, but before I go there I need a spirit boon, another blessing basically. Eru helps me summon a boon spirit, and that means more fighting up ahead. This is quite the quest, but it's not so interesting, so I'm skipping to the part where I hope to get the blessing with the help of another spirit-born, Maka. It involves a ritual, some soul crushing here and there, nothing too special, and while I find the boon spirit, he is corrupted beyond saving. No blessing for me. We do carve out his heart though, and that brings me to Nerel in Travinkel.
Nerel. It's me. I'm here for you.
We're not alone. This golden lion is Akarat.
I had words rehearsed in case you or Lorath ever tracked me down. All I can say now is I'm really happy to see you too.
Akarat is an ancient spirit-born as well. He is helping Nerel, and while searching with Eru, Maka and Nerel for Mephisto's resting place, I encounter my killer, Urivar. It is time to get revenge, and once I dispose of most of his troops, I dispose of him too. I even get to properly execute him.
You are a power-hungry tyrant, Urivar, but at least you were honest about it in the end.
So here I can show you a little issue I constantly have to deal with at this point, and that is Nerel. As she's still influenced by Mephisto, she tends to impale people, and this time it is Maka's turn. Eru, a lifelong friend, doesn't take this particularly well. Time for tampering. I'm level 58 at this point, and I continue. I find out I'm looking for a hidden tomb, and after some investigation in the local town and a bit of puzzle solving and reading clues from old statues, I move south, and Eru rejoins to help us uncover what was hidden beneath the water. The tomb of Akarat, his final resting place. I make it, and the plan is to leave the soulstone with Akarat, who will then take care of it.
You can let go now.
I do this for Nahantu. Spirits, forgive me. I've done my part. See that you do yours.
Is not the end I wanted for us. Few mortals are so worthy of their birthright. Come, child of my child. I will give you the violence you long for.
Well, that didn't go as planned. Eru betrayed us. Both Akarat's body and Mephisto's soulstone are gone. And now I have Mephisto's wolf to deal with. I do get some help in this fight from the spirit of Akarat, and this is just an excellent fight really. Mephisto keeps taunting me, proclaiming his victory, while minions are swarming me and the circle of death gets increasingly smaller. Akarat comes to the rescue multiple times and ultimately sacrifices his life for me, so I can be victorious, and I am in the end. Time to take care of Eru, once my savior, but now a betrayer. His life is over, but the harm is done. Akarat's body is in possession of Mephisto, and the Soulstone is too. Here is what he does with that, introducing me to the latest expansion, Lord of Hatred.
Now the wolf shall rise anew. Trapped in the guise of man, I shall walk amongst the innocent. And there will be no salvation in the light. Who touch the stone meet the same fate.
No! No! I need more time! I just need more time.
Time. Nothing in those scrolls will save you, Neyrel. But I can.
I want nothing from you.
You've seen what awaits. You are a part of me. But I can make better use of you.
I have seen what awaits. I will stop you!
I am untouchable.
You think you have power here?
I could do this for an eternity, Neyrel. I don't see that you have a choice, but I'd like you to say yes.
You're right. I am a part of you. I was trapped in your mind. You dream. And when you do, an ocean of twisted horrors floods your mind. I saw the sun blotted from the sky. And the darker it got, the brighter the rage of man burned. Hatred would reign. I was lost. But in that chaos, I found your greatest fear. And I will tell everyone.
Oh, child. What could I possibly fear?
And the weak were made strong. The pack of lambs would feast on their shepherd.
The prophecy? Oh, be careful, little one.
Then comes a spear of light, piercing hatred's heart.
No.
Razed to the ground by a murdered son.
Stop.
And a daughter.
Stop! I command you! You could have been so much more.
times of unrest. It will not matter. For I am
the light and the way.
Believe it or not, but Neyrelle actually dies before I even start, and by the time I enter Ket Bardu, Akarat's already gained massive influence in Sanctuary. It is there I meet Loreth once more. I let him know about Neyrelle via a letter, and he goes to the archive to investigate, only to realize she's dead. I'm not too thrilled about this, and swear to take revenge on Mephisto.
I will make Mephisto pay for this!
Soon after, I get introduced to my first mechanic, seals and charms. I can slot in a seal, and then depending on the rarity of this seal, slot in a number of charms. Right now, I only have an experience charm, but this will soon change. I'm on my way to Scovos, the island of the Amazons, but on the ship there, we're ambushed and I have to fight my way out of there. This is all triggered by some crazy hand of Akarat. Basically, those are his disciples, Mephisto's disciples, and they know Akarat is in fact Mephisto. As per usual, Mephisto has a little surprise for me.
Hello, friend. I'm glad I could see you one last time. Though it is a shame you will not witness the things to come.
This is not a threat though. 4 bonks and the sea serpent meets its demise. I make it to Scovos, its capital Themis, leave the ship and encounter more hands of Akarat, one even more insane than the other. They again summon a boss, which I again kill in no time, and I'm just in time to see the encounter between Loreth and his old acquaintance, the Queen of the Amazons, Adriona. Loreth tries to warn her about Akarat, and Akarat, also known as Mephisto, is right there on the stage. And in a fever dream caused by Mephisto, Loreth thinks he's got in a surprise sneak attack on Akarat. Unfortunately for him, this was all an illusion, and in reality he has slit the throat of Adriona. Not exactly an ideal situation, as we came here to warn her, not cut her open. In an interesting turn of events though, Akarat uses the situation to his advantage, resurrects Adriona in a blinding flash of light, and then preaches to have mercy on Loreth. This is interesting on several levels. First, a pretty good plot twist. This is some solid writing in my opinion. Second, I appreciate the contrast with Urivar, who was in a similar situation at the start of Vessel of Hatred. Brava preached mercy, but Urivar overruled her and burned a criminal alive in front of everyone. Here it is the exact opposite. Adriona doesn't get the opportunity to execute Loreth, but given her status as a warrior queen, it is likely she would have if it wasn't for Akarat. Akarat, however, doesn't give her an opportunity and takes the direct opposite route that Urivar took, solidifying his image as a benevolent prophet even more. Third, he is clearly portrayed as a messiah-like figure in appearance, in acting, and the blinding light when performing a miracle. It's a nice layer on top of the demons versus angels. Anyway, Adriona agrees with Akarat, and Loreth is getting exiled, in a scene that reminds me of the shame scene from Game of Thrones. I'm following a build from Rob. I'll put the source in the description, and I feel my Hammer of the Ancients days are over and Whirlwind days are starting. And damn, I should have swapped way earlier. This game's moment-to-moment combat is just so satisfying. I get the fishing quest, another new mechanic. I will not be spending any more time on it though. I have a false prophet to take care of. And whenever I see them, loot goblins. Always fun to kill a bunch of those. Loreth and I are making our way to the Oracle. I do some more charm and seal stuff and we find her.
Ah, here is the one who has plagued my visions. Alive and well.
She's got an excellent, totally not controversial idea at all, which is to wake up Lilith. You know, daughter of hatred, murderer of many, demon mommy extraordinaire, that one. So, I get the sightless eye out again. This thing is always the solution, it seems, when the writers don't know how to progress the plot. I meet Lilith, I tell her I need her help. She's unwilling at first until I mention Skovos and the pools of creation, which holds special importance to her, and then she agrees to help. At this point, I am mostly communicating via the eye. I need to get to her for real, so I kill some more demons and make my way to her.
I should kill you for what you did. But stopping Mephisto is more important than a grudge. And we've already wasted enough time. So, how do you intend to kill my father?
Well, I have no clue, but she does. It is Lilith's blade that's currently in shambles.
But if it can be restored, then this is what will end my father's reign. The only thing you should concern yourself with is finding that blade. I will handle the rest. To the Temple of Life.
To the Temple of Life it is. On my way there, I get a rare seal, which unlocks 4 charms. In the Temple of Life, we run into an old pal, who is very happy to see us.
You're the dog I kicked from Themis.
We try to prove our worth by clearing the corruption from the temple, and I drop my first set charm. Plus, I have some rare charms to equip as well. I kill the boss, save the refugees, learn that more hands of Akarat caused this corruption, and they point me towards the entrance, the survivors. Inside the temple, I meet the Golem of Rathma, Lilith's and Inarius' son, who was killed by Inarius. But not before I defeat him, of course, after which he spills the beans on where Lilith's blade's fragments are located.
One fragment is enshrined in Lycander, hidden in my old abode. Another lies in Athalua, at the edge of death and tides. The last is lost in Celestia, where nothing returns.
Back in Themis, I get my first set bonus from charms, and a little later I found the hilt of Lilith's blade already. Mephisto tries to interfere though, as he doesn't like the idea of me assembling a blade that can kill him or worse. So I am becoming a bit like Nerel, possessed and tormented. I send Lorath to Athawala for the blade, while I go on a little camping trip with Mommy into Mephisto's mind, an exquisite location I'm sure. It's there we learn what Inarius has told Mephisto in his dying moments.
What did you tell him? Answer me.
I told him how it began, how we made this world, the birth of our children.
We then visit the pools where Lilith explains what is going on.
They do this to themselves. They bathe in the pools. They unknowingly become a part of his ritual to taint the waters. And they corrupt the very thing that gives them life. This is it. This is his gift to me. He would show me that all I have made, all of it, is nothing.
Once I leave, I talk to a few more Amazons, and the captain tells me Loreth went to the Temple of Courage. From the Temple of Life to the Temple of Courage, it seems. Loreth has a bit of an existential crisis, as he feels he is failing as a Horadrim. I'll be honest, it's kinda hard to argue he's succeeding or done a good job. He's been seriously fucking things up recently. I am of course completely free from blame here and not projecting at all. Fortunately, Loreth is reunited with another Horadrim, one he hasn't seen in a long time, and neither have we.
I'd like you to meet Tyrael.
Together with Tyrael, I hatch a plan to kill the local drowned, as in their cave lies the second piece of Lilith's blade. Tyrael and I convince the local Amazons to form a distraction while we venture into the cave, the Foundering Caverns. And what do you know, more hands of Akarat, summoning and corrupting the drowned. It leads to this boss battle where I spin my way to victory and reclaim the edge of Lilith's blade. It's time for the third and last piece.
The third piece of the blade is hidden in Celestia, and Mephisto will be looking for it.
You can tell the build is getting faster, mostly due to movement speed on charms. So while speeding my way to Celesta, I witness a bit of a kerfuffle between the Queen and the Oracle. The Queen isn't exactly happy we enlisted a demon into our ranks basically, but it matters not because Adriana is already beyond saving. She's fully mesmerized by Akarat. I head south, fight another boss and retrieve the tip of the blade, the last piece. This gives us hope.
For the first time, it felt like we had a chance. A real chance. Could still be dead come dawn, but wouldn't have been the worst trade.
I need to assemble the blade, and similarly how quest items were assembled in Diablo 2 and maybe Diablo 3, I didn't play it that much. We need the Horadric Cube. That is in a vault around here, and on my way there I reach max level, and with that Paragon level 1. A little later, Paragon 3, as I'm whirling my way through this maze. Before I continue, I do another round of tempering in Themis, and get a bunch of aspects, which I've been collecting throughout the journey. Once inside the vault, Tyrael and I complete various trials, created by the former Horadrim. People like Talrasha, who you may remember. The campaign has various of these trips down memory lane. I think they're quite interesting. It all leads to a cool boss fight with the Horadric Guardian, where I need to use what I learned in the trials to defeat him. I do so, get the cube, remake the blade in a very cinematic and dramatic manner, but I will skip over that for the most part, because there's more drama to cover. Like this one, Lorath went after Adriona, and this time the encounter went a little differently. Unfortunately, this isn't an illusion like last time. She actually just removed a rather important part from his body. The Tree of Whispers will be happy with this, but it is quite shocking. Needless to say, Lorath won't be the only person dying here, because of course I now take on Adriona myself.
I should see to Lorath. He would tell us to leave him here. To ride out with your mother's weapon and drive it into Mephisto's heart. To save as many souls as we can. And now, we must gather our allies before the end. I will ride to Celestia. Meet me there.
It is there that the eclipse comes to pass. Akarat gets what he wants, and a mass corruption of the Amazon army takes place. This is what Akarat was after all this time, corrupting the creation of Lilith and Inarius. And the best part is, people follow him willingly, despite knowing his true nature. That makes it all the more frightening, and the narrative so much more effective. It is not just demons playing tricks on us humans, it is a significant number of people knowingly following a demon to their own demise. I think that's just great. It is not the end though, clearly. I fight through hordes of corrupted Amazons and stand before the gates to the pools of creation, where all life in Sanctuary began. Tyrael performs a final deed to get me inside.
This is your birthplace. Take it back.
Inside, I find Akarat, still preaching.
Hatred is the source of your suffering, bound to your soul from birth, from the moment your ancients awoke in these pools.
I'm not buying it and stab Akarat with his blade. He doesn't like that.
Daughter's trinkets. You impetuous fool.
And that brings me to the pinnacle fight of this expansion. I think this is an incredibly well designed fight. The mechanics are cool, and I'm only on hard difficulty at the moment, so it is ironically not hard. It is basically the quest version of this fight, but it is amazing, I think. In particular, the last phase is unforgettable, or so I thought. The conclusion is satisfying as well, I feel. Mephisto reminisces on the first time we met, our first date in the snowy mountains, which turned into a special demonic relationship, and a pretty rough breakup.
Here it is. Victory. So much effort, simply to return where we began. You alone, just as I found you. sacrifice everything, but change nothing. I will be reborn in hell, and you will be forgotten.
You're not going back to hell.
And I got some loot to boot, excellent. After a bit of inventory cleanup, I noticed Tyrael is just standing there. I thought he died at the door, but no. So we escape the collapsing structure, make it back to Themis, and there I equip my first legendary seal. This allows me to equip 5 charms in total. I will need a unique or mythic seal to slot in 6, the maximum I figure, and I will never get that. It is not quite over, our story. The epilogue is still there.
The Whispers said someone would come for Lorath. A man who is not quite man. You must be Tyrael.
Lorath is doomed to hang for an eternity in the Tree of Whispers. I don't like that idea, so I just burned down the whole thing, which is apparently possible. There's a bit more reminiscing going on.
I keep thinking of that day I walked into his cabin. I brought him into this mess.
No one brings Lorath into anything. You know that. He made a choice, despite what it would cost him.
And we're wrapping up some loose ends too. I helped the new Amazon Queen get into power, but this is ultimately just a side quest, and similarly in another side quest, I visit Lorath's last resting place. I do like you get the chance to complete several narratives without forcing you to do these as part of the campaign. The devs could have easily padded the campaign with these things, but they chose not to. I think it's a wise choice. And then it is time for Endgame. Not the focus of Diablo 4, I'm willing to say, but these days substantial nonetheless. I start with slotting my first full set of charms. It's very cool. The seasonal menu is still there with challenges you can complete. Here I complete one for Whispers, or another by crafting a Nightmare Sigil. I am progressing steadily. Here I reach Paragon 50 and I feel it is time to go to Expert difficulty. I am not in a rush. I am never in a rush playing D4. I'm channeling Whirlwind and my inner gamer dad. It is the best way to play the game, I think, in my opinion. Just be a casual. And let's be honest, who doesn't like 4 wives, 7 jobs and a demon mommy? Here are the new war plans. In this case, 2 sequential endgame activities I can run. These are randomized. The second in this case is Kurast Undercity. I complete it, meaning I complete the war plan, plus usually you also complete a Whisper Tree quest. And you can then go back to Themis, talk to Tyrael and get a bunch of loot. I have a lot left to do though in terms of gear. I add 2 sockets to the pants, now that I have a bit of crafting currency. I slot in a Pok and Kwa runestone, which completes a season challenge and provides movement speed buffs. I also get in aspects wherever I can, but I don't have the majority of the aspects available and unlocked yet. Legendaries are way less common than before, I think, at least on lower difficulties. It's a good change as far as I'm concerned. Still, I just get whatever seems to work, like shouts providing primary resource. That is good enough for now. I continue the seasonal journey, clear my first capstone dungeon on Penitence difficulty, Hellish Descent, which unlocks season rank 3. and allows me to claim several challenges I already completed from that rank, plus access to Torment 1, meaning much better drops. Here is my first 5-set charm. It is just not great for me. I can do war plans up to 4 activities at this point. To unlock higher Torment tiers, I need to run the pit. I finish another war plan with a boss kill at the end, and I'm equipping some uniques with decent stats. They're just not key items. I realize that an aspect is temporarily disabled of Endless Rage. I complete another seasonal challenge and fill up another blessing. I found 2 pieces of the Session's Fury set, so I equip those, granting me the Colossal buff. Whenever I'm above a certain Fury number, I gain a damage increase. I annihilate a room full of goblins. Because my Whirlwind is converted to fire damage, I slot in ruby jewels in all of my weapons, and I start having enough crafting materials to start masterworking. This increases the quality of your items, and those quality increases are significant. So I'm starting with my main weapon, the 2-handed mace. I encounter way more goblins during a chaos wave in the Infernal Hordes. This was likely my highest score of the entire playthrough. I killed a special boss as well, which can be summoned for 666 resources. Nice. I get my first ancestral legendary of the run, so I start crafting on it. First, I roll an affix with enchanting. You can only do that for 1 affix. I pick to replace weapon damage, because I'm not actually attacking with this one-handed mace, it is just a stat stick. Then I temper and get crit chance, the max roll, very nice, and then I'm out of materials. I do more pit, meet and kill more butchers, get more whisper rewards. It's still satisfying to have all of these drops. They did a good job there. And here's my damage so far in Torment 3 on Grigwar. Pretty solid stuff. More rewards from Tyrael, Paragon level 104, I get a few more aspects. My entire gear is legendary at this point, or even unique. Using the cube, I can reroll set charms, making it a lot easier to get all 5. I now have a complete Session's Fury set, providing a bunch of Fury, the Colossal status, and much more damage. Continuing with the cube, all pieces of gear with only 3 affixes get another affix added. I complete a mastercraft for one of my one-handed weapons, and the result is pretty clear. Here is that same boss, still at Torment 3. I do at least twice the damage in this case, if not more. I'm getting more and more crafting materials and decide to mastercraft my main weapon too, even though it is not ancestral yet. And in that same session, the boots hitting ultimately the movement speed affix. The cube can do more, for example a chaotic reroll, a chaos orb in Path of Exile. I get 3 decent affixes using that, and the 4th bad affix, the evade charges, I can enchant, which is the next step in this process. You can endlessly do this reroll for a single affix, it just gets more pricey. I hit Fury Generation, a staple affix for the build. I then temper movement speed on the boots. It's got an aspect too, making it legendary, and then you masterwork the whole thing, and I hit Strength. These are nice boots. I do a little test run and kill Duriel. I'm using more enchanting, this time on the ring, replacing armor with crit chance. It is not ancestral this item, but these are great affixes. I temper Resource Generation and masterwork it and hit the tempered affix. Again, it's a nice ring. I get a new Horadric seal with a better implicit attack speed. And it's time for the next capstone dungeon, which I annihilate, unlocking the next season rank. I found an ancestral ring, same recipe, enchant until you hit a good affix, imprint an aspect you like, in this case an ultimate related aspect, temper resource generation, reroll until you're happy with the values, masterwork the entire thing and hit again the tempered affix. The cube can do even more though, it also can use boss keys, which previously were used to summon bosses, but now are used to transmute into boss loot. I think it's an upgrade, although it doesn't make any sense. With that said, I do get a unique I want for my build, Gore's Devastating Grips. I temper critical damage multiplier on it, masterwork it and again hit the tempered affix, and this is a nice item. It pulls enemies towards me when I'm using Whirlwind.
Worthy of the ancients, this.
I use a mythic armament tribute in the Cursed Undercity, one-shot the boss, and drop my first ever mythic item, Doombringer. I'm very happy about this. I'm holding off with crafting for a little bit, as it is technically not for my build, this item. I do make an amulet, it is ancestral, so it's a decent upgrade. It turns out I have already completed the season rank 5 and 6 capstones, which aren't dungeons but bosses. I've been doing plenty of them with the war plans. This unlocks a whole heap of individual rewards too. I have equipped the Doombringer, finally. It is completely crafted too. I am making this new ancestral two-handed sword. I finish the amulet by masterworking it, and a little later I use another mythic tribute and therefore get another mythic Shroud of the False Death with 2 greater affixes even. This is a very tanky item, even allowing me to cheat death every 5 minutes. I'm in Torment 7 at this point, killing goblins in a Helltide. Fun times. I enchant pants and replace extra potions with strength, my core attribute. I temper life on it, masterwork it, and also complete the two-handed masterwork for the sword from earlier. I equip the mythic, put in runestones, which makes me summon wolves when moving around. And for a second rune combo, I get additional crit chance. I get to craft on the mythic, I do a bit of tempering for life. Get more crafting mats from a whisper, which allows me to complete master crafting, which again hits the tempered affix. This is a great item. I'm running my least favorite activity, the pit, to upgrade glyphs. It's a lot smoother these days, but still tedious. My first glyph reaches legendary status for max radius, I drop better seals, I take the one with damage and damage reduction. The second glyph reaches legendary status, I get a better ancestral one-handed weapon. This is a decent result after it is finished. I have finally found an ancestral two-handed mace, my main weapon, and use the cube and tuning prisms to roll for specific affixes. I enchant weapon damage instead of damage multiplier, temper crit chance, it's almost a max roll. And now that I realize how these tuning prisms work, I start making more base gear. Another two-handed mace, and this ring. Still, the first mace seems best. I masterwork it, hit the crit chance. That's a good outcome, I think. And looking at the stats, the green numbers, this is a significant upgrade. I continue on that ring and get ultimately a crit multi-enchant, just what I wanted. Plus a resource generation on the 2 greater affix helmet. I temper life, also hit that as a greater affix, and masterwork the resistances. This is a very tanky helmet, and with the aspect, it makes it even tankier. I've reached Torment 8 and decide to slay Asmodan as a world boss for another season reward. And there are many rewards to claim, in fact. I drop a 4 greater affix helmet, but unfortunately most of the affixes are garbage. I drop a mythic tribute from a whispered chest reward, meaning that is a guaranteed mythic in the Undercity. So time to get in there, and it is another Doombringer. I got one, so I just salvaged this one, meaning you get a resplendent spark, and these can be used to craft more mythics, like this. At the blacksmith, a random mythic unique, which is...
That is a scary craftsmanship. I'll be here, swinging away.
A Doombringer. Anyway, time for some alone time with Demon Mommy. Time to clear the Echo of Lilith. A very difficult fight a few years ago. Now, not so much. It does unlock another seasonal challenge with good rewards. Another spark for starters, plus a load of other stuff. I'm in the mood for more bosses, this time Astaroth. You get here by doing escalating nightmare dungeons, which are basically 4 nightmare dungeons in a row, and the 4th one then contains this boss. They get progressively harder and more rewarding, and this boss does as well, especially if you don't know the mechanics, like me. At some point though, I figure out I should be focusing on Astaroth and just ignore the Hellhound. It seems Astaroth is invincible once the Hellhound is dead. Even then it is a hard fight for sure, although I have reached at this point Torment 10, and maybe this is just a little bit too much at this point in time. I am a barbarian with tons of perseverance and few brain cells, so I keep soldiering on, ultimately killing the boss, completing the escalating dungeons, and there's a bunch of loot as well. Unfortunately no mythic, that is a shame. This is among the loot though, a 2-handed mace with 1 greater affix. Using the cube I can add an affix and target the affix type. I do defensive using a tuning prism. I'm pretty sure this is a guaranteed life roll because there's no other defensive option, and I keep removing and adding the same affix over and over again until I'm happy with the roll. I add 2 sockets at the jeweler, craft 2 royal rubies to go into those sockets, imprint the aspect of limitless rage, which is fixed at this point, temper crit chance and hit the greater affix again, masterwork the entire thing and hit the weapon damage greater affix. I think this is a good outcome. I slot in the 2 rubies from before, and then I realize I can also transfigure the item. This is basically corrupting an item from Path of Exile. It has similar unknown effects, especially to me because I'm not looking up anything, and it will get the transfigured or corrupted status, preventing further crafting. There is only one more thing though. I can use another prism to prevent bad corruption outcomes, which I do because I'm scared of what might happen. And the transfiguration added another affix for 16.5% max life. I'm very happy with this new weapon. I now understand the transfigure option, so I'm about to transfigure my entire gear set, starting with the Doombringer for 4 extra quality. The amulet can get another aspect, which is pretty huge. I'm not hitting a damage one, but it is still okay. The one-hander hits plus 118 to all stats. The sword, 6 item quantity. The boots, 9.9% max life. The mythic, plus 4 quality. My helm, more stats. The amulet as well. The ring, plus 2 quality. More life on the other ring. The pants, plus 1 quality. And finally the unique, life on hit. This is massive, huge upgrades across the board. I make another mythic cache and again a Doombringer. This time though it has a greater affix, that is something for later. It is time again for Mephisto. Not on normal difficulty, but on Torment 10, and this is no joke. I thought I had good gear, but I'm getting demolished by this guy. I have also not learned the mechanics all that much. For example, he's coming down here with the beige glow around him, and I stand right into the AoE. My mythic chest saves me once, but after that, it is poof. I'm not giving up though. This is an amazing fight. The issue is clear enough, I think. A good number of abilities simply one-shot me, plus I don't do all that much damage myself. I need way more damage and possibly better defenses. I make it pretty far in the first phase, all the way up to the roleplay moment where Akarat launches his entire arsenal on me. But I haven't mastered the rotating AoE stuff yet, so I die once more. But after trying and trying, he goes down. Well, Akarat does. Mephisto, however, rises from the pools, also bombards me from the sky, and then a whole heap of poison kills me, as again I am not prepared for any of these mechanics. I reach the Mephisto stage again, but again get killed. Not by poison, but by blood dots from exploding minions. This is a very rough fight. It's time for something a bit more chill. MTX. I have apparently favorite tokens, no clue how. I only bought the base expansion, but I can buy stuff with these tokens. I buy some cool swords and whatnot, and I get a cool mount as well. It is time to improve the gear some more, with this ring for example. You know the drill by now. This is a lot of damage on a ring. Or these promising boots from the pit. That's a nice greater affix. I kill the butcher in his own domain. This is also a very cool fight I feel. And then I craft those boots. I add strength in the cube, temper movement speed, mastercraft the movement speed too, get the overheating aspect, and transfigure for 7 item quality. It's a great item, 83% movement speed. Here is a fully fledged war plan, and somehow someone brought some demons to hang out in Themis. I run more escalated nightmare dungeons. It is likely my favorite content, next to the bosses, which I think are very well designed. The next Astaroth drops a mythic, but again it is the same, I already have Sag. In a random nightmare dungeon, this happens. I have no clue what's going on, but my financial problems are a thing of the past. It's more bosses, more butchers, and I found an ancestral version of another unique great for the build, as this one scales damage based on max fury. After transfiguring, this thing is quite good. I kill Duriel and get a mythic ring of Starless Skies, a pretty sick ring I feel. So I do the whole crafting ritual again that you've now seen quite a few times. I finish with a flat transfigure, which I think only corrupts the item without any benefit. Plus, I forgot to edit the socket first, so yeah, I can't do that now anymore, as it is unmodifiable. It's back to Mephisto, now that I have all of these upgrades. I expect this fight to be a lot smoother now. I definitely do more damage, but also still get one shot. I'm making it consistently to the last phase, however, until bullshit like this happens. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to avoid all of this. Or this beam. He just turns around and nukes me with it. It's kinda hard to tell, these aren't particularly telegraphed. In fairness, I should just stay behind him. Or he does this, and just like pretty much any other ability in his phase, also these red pillars of doom will stun and kill you. Time for more upgrades. A fully upgraded course for starters. And I hunt that mythic using the tribute, and it is the grandfather. Another one for the collection. I temper crit chance, masterwork it, and the transfigure hits gem strength. That is a lot of fire multiplier right there. A little later I kill Andariel because I can, and after the chest a portal pops up. This comes from the Atlas passive tree, if you will. The game added small trees per endgame activity, and in a nightmare dungeon I have a chance to get this portal. It is a nemesis lair, a portal to more bosses. In this case the echo of Lord Zir and Varshan, who I completely annihilate in Torment 10. And they drop another mythic, it's very cool. This room, however, leads to a greater nemesis lair, where I go get to fight the Harbinger of Hatred and Belial at the same time, who I both absolutely annihilate. After which I get access to the ultimate nemesis tier, where surely I will find riches beyond belief. Well, I find Asmodan for starters, and Andariel, and then Duriel for good measure, and there's a butcher in there too with them. I'll say I haven't had this much fun in a good while in an ARPG, just plain dumb arcade fun, loot fountains, 4 pinnacle bosses stacked on each other. It's a piece of art really. It doesn't lead to all that much loot wise, I'm not getting any meaningful upgrades from this, but I think it's great implementing a system like this. Time for more Mephisto. He destroys me still. Notice how I just annihilated basically the whole endgame in terms of bosses in those Nemesis dungeons, and then compare it to this fight. I am doing way more damage to him, but there's just so much shit you have to take into account, and he can mess you up from off screen as well. I do walk into a beam here though, this one is on me. I'm getting closer. Okay, here again I'm kind of walking into those beams, my bad, getting close though. Okay, here he actually off-screens me. There's no way you can avoid this, so that one is on him for sure. Here I have no clue really what happened, so just moving on. Then he's at a third of his life doing another phase thing, so it's time to nuke until he summons whatever the hell that is out of the pools. Of course, these things one-shot me. Next attempt, same situation. Somehow they one-shot me, but now with a delay. This one feels a little unfair, but okay. Here, it's a good thing my microphone isn't on because I'm screaming like a little girl, reminiscent of the first time doing Karazhan in World of Warcraft and being chased by the wolf. Here, it is more of those exploding minions, which can be really hard to see as they are red, and those blobs coming from the pools are also big and red, and I am scared shitless at this point. Here, it is just those blobs again. They can be incredibly hard to avoid and travel alongside you sometimes. And then here, I finally defeat Mephisto. This has taken me hours and hours up to this point. Here, I start to realize that maybe I should drink less so my memory keeps working. There's a fucking third phase I completely forgot about. And here I get one shot in said phase. I hope you enjoyed this video, ladies and gentlemen. Like and subscribe, D4Bad.